Welcome to Course 2's Lesson 20. This lesson we're going to talk about exponents. We're going to talk about figuring the area of a rectangle. We're going to discuss square roots. We're going to use exponents to show repeated multiplication. We're going to use words to show how an exponential expression is read. We're going to find values of those expressions. We're going to use exponents to indicate units that have been multiplied. We're going to distinguish between a unit of length and a unit of area. We'll find the area of a rectangle using the formula area equals length times width. We'll find the length of a square when the area of a square is given. And we'll find the square root of a perfect square. So this lesson has a lot in it. This will take you a little longer than usual. Please take your time and work through each of the problems yourself. Don't just watch me solve them. Our vocabulary are these words. Area is defined as the amount of a surface. Base is the big number. So in this example, the 4 is the base. This little 2 here is the exponent. An exponent in 4 squared, the 2 is the exponent. Exponential expression is just when they write it in words, 4 squared. That, when you write it 4 squared, is an expression rather than numbers, or 2 to the third power. Square root, if we know the length of the side of a square, we square the length to find the area. So if we know that a square was 9 inches squared, then we know that each side was 3. We remember that we can show repeated addition by using multiplication. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is the exact same thing as 4 times 5. That's how exponents work. There's always a way to show repeated multiplication. We can show repeated multiplication for using an exponent. So 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is the same thing as 5 to the 4th power, using the exponent 4 to show that we want to take that 5 and multiply it 5 times. In the expression 5 to the 4th power, the exponent is 4 and the base is 5. The exponent shows how many times the base is to be used as a factor. So we know that 5 is the number we're going to use, and the 4 tell us that we need to multiply that 4 times to get the correct answer. The following examples show how we read expressions with exponents. We call these exponential expressions. So 4 squared is said 4 squared, or 4 to the 2nd power. We can say 2 cubed because it's to the 3rd power, or 2 to the 3rd power. 5 to the 4th power, and 10 to the 5th power. What would that be? Hopefully you said 6 cubed, or 6 to the 3rd power. What would that be? That's 8 squared. To find the value of an expression with an exponent, we use the base as a factor and we just times everything. So the 5 to the 4th is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times 5 is 625. That's how we do it. So see if you can solve for A. What is 4 squared? What does 4 squared equal? What does it mean? 4 to the 2nd power. Well, hopefully you know that means 4 times 4, and that the answer is 16. Take a look at B, 2 cubed. So what are we going to do on this one? How are we going to solve this? Do you have your answer? Is it 8? 2 times 2 times 2? What's your answer for C? Solve that. That's a big number, isn't it? You just take that 1, just put 5 zeros behind it, and come up with 100,000. Unless you know 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000, times 10 is 10,000, times 10 is 100,000. D, it gets a little bit harder, but only in the sense that it's a fraction that we're timesing twice. 2/3 to the 2nd power just means 2/3 times 2/3. Do you know what 2 times 2 is? Do you know what 3 times 3 is? If you do, you know when we times fractions, all we do is times straight across. So you should have come up, if you pause it, you should have came up with 4 9. So let's see if we did that right. There we go. We love it when we're right. So simplify this expression. See if you can come up with this answer for me. Write it on a piece of paper. I'll wait. Pause your video. Do it. So here we're going to take 4 times 4. That's this part here, which equals 16. And over here, minus 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 16 minus 8 equals 8. Our answer is 8. Hopefully you got the answer 8. Here, what we need to solve for is the n. What does n equal? What exponent is that? It's not asking you to come up with the answer. You're not going 2 times, you're not taking this and going 2 times 2 times, it's not asking you to do that. So forget that. It's just asking you how many exponents is this answer here. So if we had 2, well, let me just show you. This is a difficult concept. So let's look at this. In the first example here of A, we're asked to find the missing exponent. 2 to the third means 2 times 2 times 2. And 2 to the third means 2 times 2 times 2. So how many 2's do we have all together? All right, we have 6 of them. So the answer up here would be 2 to the 6th power. Now looking at B, instead of multiplying, we're dividing. That's a little bit more difficult, but we can still do it with the help of right here. Right? You got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the 6th equals that. And 2 to the 3rd equals that. Then we can just go, we can cancel that out with that one. We can take that and cancel that out with that one. We can cancel that out with that one. And that leaves us 3 2's on top, which is 2 to the 3rd. So in our answer here, the n right here is 2 to the 3rd, which is our answer right there. So we come down here, it says, what is the missing exponent? It's a 3. I know that's a little tough, a little mind-boggling at first if you haven't dealt with exponents. So please let me know in class if this is confusing to you so we can do it some more and practice some more. When we're talking about units like feet, when we multiply feet, the answer stays feet. So 4 feet plus 8 feet is just 12 feet. But when we multiply feet, it becomes feet times feet. So it's 32 feet squared. So if I had 2 feet times 2 feet times 2 feet, my answer would be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8 feet. How many feet are there? 3 of them, cubed. The result of multiplying feet gives us what they call square feet. So up here where it says 32 feet squared, so feet squared, that can be expressed as, you can write square feet, or you can just put feet squared. You decide. Either one of these is okay. This diagram below represents the floor of a hallway that has been covered with square tiles that are each 1 foot on each side. How many 1 foot square tiles are there total in this? How do you do that without going 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't want you to do that. Based off the prior screen, we know that we can take the 4 and we can times it by the 8. So 4 times 8, but remember this is feet and this is feet. So 4 times 8 equals, what do these two equal added together? That's right, 32. And then feet times feet is feet. Just feet? Nope. It's feet squared. But in this case here, they didn't ask us how many feet squared. That's our area. 32 feet squared would be our area. It asks us how many tiles are there. Well, there's just 32 tiles. But if I want to know area, it would be 32 feet squared would be the area. But the number of tiles is just simply 32. So it's careful to read what it is they ask you for. In this case here, it just asks us for how many tiles. It didn't ask us to find the area. On this one here, the length of this rectangle is represented by L, and its width is represented by W. So what is its area? Well, you don't know the numbers, so you're going to go area equals length times width, or L times W. That's our formula for area, is length times width. So if this was a 2 and this was a 3, what would our area be? Length with this 2 times 3 equals area, which is 6. So our area would be 6. And depending if it was feet, it would be feet squared. If it was meters, it would be meters squared. Let's look at number 2. The length of each side of a square is S. So what is the area of the square? Begin your answer this way. A equals, so to figure this out would be A equals what? A equals S times what? Another side, because the sides are all equal. S times S would work, or another way of saying that is S squared. What is the area of this rectangle? What is the area of that rectangle there? How do we do it? Use your formula, area equals length times width. Oh, wait. What you should have done is you should have taken your 5 and times it by your 3 and come up with 15. But we're using inches. 15 what? 15 inches squared. That's your answer, 15 inches squared. Whenever you're doing with area, it's always going to be squared. The perimeter of a certain square is 12 inches. What is the area of the square? So if you've got a square, you know that going all the way around it equals 12 inches. How much is each one of these sides? That should be pretty easy, right? 12 divided by 4 is 3 inches each. So you know each side is 3 inches. So how would you calculate the area? How would you find the area of that same square? Well, you would times these two together, right? You'd get 9 inches squared. Hopefully this is starting to come to you a little bit. I know if it's brand new, it can be a little bit difficult to absorb, but we'll get a lot of practice on this kind of stuff. Let's go down here to the bottom. Down here at the bottom tells us that if we know that a square, it's got to be a square, is 9 inches squared, then to calculate, we won't even need to know the sides. So example of this, so if we knew this, we're 9 inches squared, we could automatically know that this is 3 and this is 3, because the square root of 9 is 3. So let me test you here. If I got a square and this is 4, what are its sides? The area is 4 inches squared. How much is each one of these sides? It's going to be 2. 2 times 2 is 4. You understand? Let's try one more. If this was 16 inches squared, well, how long would the sides be? Hopefully you know that they would be 4. Each one would be 4. So our area would be 4 times 4 is 16 inches squared. All right, let's see if you can do A and B here. This is a little bit trickier. It's giving you the square. So you've got to figure out what the square root of 121 is. What times what equals 121? Well, the square root of 121 is 11. So the answer to A is 11. The answer to B is a little different. first thing you have to do underneath this is that 8 squared means 8 times 8, doesn't it? So 8 times 8 equals 64. And what's the square root of 64? Is 8. So our answer for B would be 8. You have no practice set? Your tickets in the door are numbers 12, 17, 28, A and B. Make sure that you do those ones tonight. The other 30, the balance you can do tomorrow in class. But get those 3 done tonight. So if you have any questions, we can go over it. Thank you for watching the video. We'll see you tomorrow in class.